The light that comes from this cosmic tree works in, the best way to describe it in science is plasma ribbons. Because you're in this biosphere type environment, this light energy is living, and it can interact with people that want to interact with it, or that it wants to interact with you. The moment that interaction takes place, it looks like a huge cobra coming at you. But you're not afraid, because you know it's something your subconscious, yourself that is probably as old as the universe, remembers as being natural. And you're not afraid, you're kind of excited. It feels like home. And it makes contact with you, and that is when you basically, you're part of it. You can interact with anything you want, any bit of knowledge. You're eating of the fruit of the tree of life teaching, if you can call it that. The fruit of knowledge, the knowledge of everything in the universe is stored in this, I would call it a nucleus of the universe. That's the best way to imagine. Imagine a magnetic field would have a force field out the top and a force field out the bottom. That's what a tree looks like. The roots are visible also as light going down below into the depths of space and the top as well. But it's all enclosed in some kind of a biosphere. And to find evidence of that biosphere for the first 10 years, I didn't know where to really look. I mean, if you look in the average research books, you don't find this sort of thing. But it came much later, because I almost gave up on it. I thought, well, maybe it'll make sense as I find out more. But in my 30s, I had another really life-altering experience, which I don't really talk about much. This isn't as important, but that's when I started putting it all together. I was living in a home on my own. I had the typical sort of monk kind of experience where you live on your own for a long period of time and you find yourself spiritually. And I was living on the side of a hill with a very, very big river running past it in a very ornate environment. And that was where it became activated. And I realized then that the mountain, the hill, the granite stone that was underneath was very important. And I did meditation, got deeper and deeper into it, and I could tap back in to those memories, and more importantly, tap back into that source again, live, there and then, and I could interact with it depending what it wanted to show me. And I'd made a commitment, it seems, from my life, my near-death experience, to try and bring some of it forward. And the response from it was, well, there's been many before you that have tried and failed. What makes you different? What are you going to do differently? And I was pretty emotionally determined to make it work. And I realized then that is a calling kind of thing. And I thought, it sounds really cheesy and very sort of religious. It's not my nature. I'm not a religious person. I've always believed in spirituality. And it just got more and more into the deep meditation. And I started studying ancient books about what the ancients did. They fasted. They were in sacred places, below a tree, in a mountain, in a cave. The cave is the most common sort of ancient spiritual place. And of course, it's getting into the Mother Earth, getting into that place where the Earth connects with this cosmic tree. And again, got deeper and deeper into understanding who we are and where we come from. And it seems my life experience, my first near-death experience, the big life-altering experience, was I asked this cosmic tree the ultimate question. Because this feels all natural. Who am I? Who are we? Who are you? What is? It's a normal sort of reaction. Like, where is this place? What am I? Why do I look so different? And asking who are we, where we come from, it allows you to know a spiritual answer and a physical answer. And the spiritual answer is obviously this is the nucleus of the universe, and souls all in through the roots and actually progress out to more life. The whole meaning of life, a gift of more life, is how well you fit into the matrix. How well do you fit into a world, a simple world with natural creation, animals, trees, plants, other people. If you are in harmony with that and know how to appreciate that and live with it and maintain it and nurture it, you're going good places, you're going to paradise. But you have any spiritual habits that you've learnt in your life to destroy and pollute and treat people as you better than them, you're just going to keep going back to places and relearning. So, it was something that I thought, everybody needs to know this. I have a responsibility, and it seems I gave a sense of responsibility, a commitment to bring it forward. And it had some sort of rules and ways that you could do it the best, and don't make the mistakes of those before you. And some allowed themselves to be deified, seen as important people. There's a very important humility aspect that I tell my story. I must admit that it's still something that's going to evolve, because no human brain can take in everything. It's just too much for the little brain to try and, even through deep meditation, tell the story exactly and accurately, because it's using perhaps quantum physics and science that I still haven't a clue about. but I can see the generalities of it. And I think it's important that I set up the website that I've done, oneism.org, as a foundation for the basics, and it's going to grow. I'm always going to be watching over it as long as I can, and I want to put it in the power and control of at least a group of people, 7 at a very bare minimum, very important spiritual people that maintain and nurture it, and it'll just follow on, it'll evolve, it'll never be a fixed thing because it turns into a religion. Maybe later on will be very destructive, because those are things that are stable and set, they don't ever change as more truth is found. This is going to be the way forward, where great scientists work, because science and spirituality has to fit. If the God created the universe that we're calling God the Creator, then the laws of science are those laws. Now if we try and make them different, then it's a stupidity. We need to try and see how quantum mechanics and everything fits within the creation of the universe, and science and creation and evolution is there. I mean, is it a bad thing that God created the whole universe in not 7 days, but perhaps 7 long measurements of time that are probably billions of years ago? Maybe 7 billion years, big deal. But here we are. There seems to be life throughout the whole universe. That's another thing that I found out, that life, the common design shape that we think, well, we're the greatest, we humans, it's common throughout the universe. And perhaps some environments where it's hotter and more conducive to the reptilian lineage, yes, they would be the perfect gene for that area. Some more gentle planets perhaps more suitable for something like the dolphin lineage, that shouldn't have gone back into the sea like we found in our Earth when the dinosaurs took over the planet with extremely hot and over-oxygenated conditions, where the reptilians got very big and poor little mammalian dolphin had to seek refuge in the sea. That creature was probably destined to inherit the planet, and the apes had the chance right up to Neanderthal. But Neanderthal and us, there's a big missing link here. It's like the humans have raided the world of the apes. Our ancestors seem to have colonized the planet that was destined for the last hominid, which is a Neanderthal. And if my theory is real, I should find it everywhere. And that's what's fantastic about the story. You'll see it everywhere. Every single human race seems to be tied in with a lineage that is not of this earth. Looking at the evolution of the hominids goes back millions of years. Ape-like skull, that's Neanderthal, that's the last hominid. Became extinct somewhere around about 10,000 years ago. We're still not sure exactly, was it 9,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago? But the human skull is very different to the hominid, and it started off being a little bit more robust, a little bit more square jaw-lined, aquiline nose, and they've devolved slightly by brain volume, which is quite weird. Whereas these others had quite large brains. The brain size, by the way, is very similar from the Neanderthal to the human, but there is no genetic link. I'm still safe in saying that the more scientists look at it, the more they say humans must go way back here somewhere, millions of years. We went off at a funny angle and suddenly became more human-like. I think these two folks are definitely related. You can see the similarity between these two. But this chappie here, the human skull, is way out of design. Every single little piece on there is very different. And the thing is, I think these folk came here, whereas these became extinct because when you look at the anatomy of humans versus hominids, the Neanderthal femur, for example, look at the wall thickness of a femur on a Neanderthal. Ours is like Aero chocolate. Now, we're the only creature in the animal kingdom that seems to have bird-like bones, porous bones. Most animals and all the apes, all the hominids, that's modern apes today, and all the hominids that are extinct, all have very robust, very powerful skeletons. And it makes sense, because if you compare them to us and compare what a monkey can do jumping out of a tree and falling on his head and getting up and dusting himself, we fall out of a tree and we don't just dust ourselves. We've broken a neck, a back, who knows what else we've broken, but our skeletal frame doesn't seem to be as strong as it should be. And scientists will tell you it's a mutation that just went wrong. It just happened. But I think it's because we have evolved in a smaller world. The perfect world for us would be half of this gravity, where we would be able to do the same as what apes do. Their muscle connection, by the way, is 1/3 better. They're more connected on all their muscles. If you ever try grab an arm of a chimpanzee, no matter if you're a wrestler or not, if that chimpanzee wants to pull you, he'll pull you right off your feet. He's got mechanical advantage, 1/3 advantage. We are retarded with muscle connection as well. That doesn't make any sense.